Welcome back to Hillbilly Pillars. I'm excited to be talking about the first vinyl issue of one of my all-time favorite records, and that's 1993's Other Voices, Other Rooms by Nanci Griffith. Just a game changer for me in opening up the world of the power and beauty that can be held in a great folk song. It was a labor of love for her, and she handpicked these tracks from artists that she loved and songs that she loved, and then got an unreal group of people to sing and play on it. There's songs, I got notes here, excuse me for that. There's songs by Townes Van Zandt and Bob Dylan and John Prine and Kate Wolf and Gordon Lightfoot and Woody Guthrie. Artists who appear on the album include Bob Dylan, John Prine, Guy Clark, Arlo Guthrie, Iris DeMent, Emmylou Harris, and Odetta. And then the players just got like a who's who of Nashville guys. Chet Atkins, Stuart Duncan, Bella Fleck, John Hartford, Roy Husky, Leo Kottke, and Alison Krauss. Just an unreal lineup. The way the vinyl edition came about, Elektra Records, the label, is celebrating their 75th anniversary, and they picked 20 classic albums from their back catalog and issued them these special editions of vinyl. I believe some of them were on vinyl before, but this one was not. It's in that mid-90s period I've talked about before, and so I was so excited. And like I've talked about on this channel, I'm no audiophile. I have zero issues with depressing. It sounds fantastic. It's packaged well. As far as my thoughts on the album, what I thought about was all of my family, except for my parents, came from Appalachia, Virginia. That's where my mom and dad were raised, just north of the North Carolina border. And my mother and father moved us to the panhandle of Florida when I was just in second grade. He was in textiles, and where he was working closed up, and that's just where he found a job. There were limited options. The industry was dying even way back then. And we would go back usually once a year. And I remember we would go to my mom's house, Pawpaw and Granny's, her parents. And my two older brothers had their own room at the house, and then there was an additional room. And it was my Pawpaw and Granny's house. Come from very humble backgrounds. I'm sure it was just a one bedroom to begin with, and then little additions here and there. And I would sleep in the same room on a fold out couch with my parents. And in that room, they would have the windows propped up. It would get cooler in the evening, not a Florida panhandle thing, and have a box fan propped in the window running. So that hum of that fan, and laying there covered up under one of my granny's quilts next to my parents. And it was just the most secure and safe and like love-filled feeling. It's kind of like if you were to hypnotize me, like, go to this place where you've been like the most safe in your life and comfortable, that would be it. And that's what this sounds like to me. Just so many killer tracks done so adoringly. I think it's like a real power that like Emmylou Harris has in Nanci's covering of these songs. You can hear and feel her adoration and care for them come through. But outside of that, she just tears them up. I would not consider myself a big Nanci Griffith fan, like of her individual work. That's fine. Some of it I like, some of it I can do without. But this album, and then she did a follow-up a few years later, which is called Other Voices, Other Rooms 2, and it's right on par. Just another killer suite of songs with great artists like Steve Earle and Lucinda Williams playing on them. Just as fine of cover albums as you will hear. Some of the standout tracks on this to me, she does Speed of the Sound of Loneliness. And at the time when I first heard it, I couldn't have told you who John Prine was. I just remember thinking, this is one of the most clever songs. And it gets in and out so quick. I like, what an amazing track. There's Can't Help But Wonder Where I'm Bound by Tom Paxton, which could kind of be maybe a little bit of, might have a little bit of that Pete Seeger hokey-ish kind of thing, I think, in the original, but this cover, I don't know. None of this stuff on this album ever touches that. It ends with Whim Away, and I don't even feel that way about Whim Away on this. I love it, and it seems appropriate for it. 10 Degrees and Getting Colder by Gordon Lightfoot. I'm not a Gordon Lightfoot guy. I've tried a couple times, and it just doesn't hit me. But this song, and done by her, and then along with Iris DeMent, I put Iris's album up here for this, My Life. That's a very important album for me. But 10 Degrees and Getting Colder, it starts off with this verse. There's a guy standing by the side of the highway, and it's 10 degrees and getting colder, and he's got a sign up, and all it says is mother on it. And then in the song, it's explained after you go on this little journey of where he's at in his life, and it's pretty hard times, traveling musician. And at the end, it's like, hey, if you're ever going down the highway and it's 10 degrees and getting colder, and you see a guy standing by the side of the highway holding that sign, if you've ever loved your mother, won't you pull off on the shoulder? If you're going Milwaukee way, it's 10 degrees and getting colder down by Boulder Dam today. Just such a beautiful song. I mentioned on a previous video, there are 3 songs that I can think of that I know outright every time I hear them will make me cry, and one of them is on this. It's Turn Around. And I think it was, if I remember right, back in the day reading up about this, it was used in like a Kodak commercial. And it's set in like scenes of a baby girl growing. And it's beautiful. And being a hashtag girl dad, my daughter's a senior in high school now. It gets me. And just the delivery on this, just like everything else, is done with such care and consideration that it's just really beautiful. Another thing I like to think of about this album, you know, finding me when it did, my senior year in high school, 1993, is it's like the most heartfelt, best mixtape anyone ever made me. Like, Nanci Griffith made this for me, and I'll always be thankful to her for that gift. I'm looking over at my list to see if there's anything that I wanted to mention that I've left out. It is on my all-time list of favorite albums. I did a list of 25 recently, and it's number 22. And yeah, I just adore it. And yeah, that's it. If you've never heard this, you know, I don't have any shame in Spotify. It's on Spotify. I would give it a listen, and the vinyl release is great. Thanks.